Welcome, bienvenidos. This is Roxana from MetamorphosisRox, the place to be where you want more than tea. Today I was supposed to come in 5 minutes early, and of course, as it usually happens when I say I'm coming in early, when I don't announce it, it works without a hitch. When I don't announce it, it's this nightmare of major proportions. I do believe that it's a little choppy. You're going to have to deal with that. I'm sorry. I apologize in advance. By any chance it drops, I'm going to go get in the car and do it from the car. So you're not going to be able to tell me anything that I'm going to be able to look at. Hold on. I can't spell today for some reason. It would be nice if this thing would move. I'm just saying. Hi, Lily. Hi, Luna Faye. Hey, Heathen. Hi, Tippy. Yay. Hey, Mink. Hi, Jamie. Hi, Karma. Hey, Fashionista. All right, so I'm going to talk about a topic that I started talking about on Twitter, but there's a couple of things that I want to talk about first. Hey, Marisol. Hey, Erin. Hi, Hilda. And I'm trying to make it to like 15 people before I start talking, so give me a second. I can't believe you'd cut my life short. You know I can't resist. But I told you I was cooking at 4. Could you shout out that Marissa is making a comeback video today? Really? Marissa's coming back, not another housewife. Go check her out. See? I love the colors on that backdrop. That's why I picked it, and it came out really freaking close to what I saw on the Amazon thingy. The girls are. Gee, thanks for bringing that up. I just turned red. Hi, Jen. Hi, Donna. Watching the hurricanes on Windy. Well, I didn't get a hurricane. It kind of like sizzled out when it got here, and now it's building up again, which is crazy to me, but it is what it is, and it's not what it's not. So, all right. So let me start talking because there's 2 main topics for you guys today. One of them, girl, it's all fake. It's a exercise bra. I'm gonna talk about something big now, then I'm gonna talk about something okay, and then I'm gonna talk about another big thing, which ironically they both affect karma. So, mi tía postiza. Oh, that's so sweet, Karma. All right, so let's start with the first topic. And as you can tell, and that was done by design. I'm not wearing any well, technically not by design, but the fact that I'm going to talk about this is by design. Not wearing any makeup. I didn't do my hair. Hi, Elvia. I have severe allergies today, and I cannot touch my face without my face screaming back at me. So the topic today just felt like, oof, because if somebody's taking the time to take screenshots of this live stream to say how ugly I am, if that is the best defense you have against me, you're sad and pathetic. That's all I'm going to say about that. I actually thought you looked good today. Oh, thank you, sweetie. We're getting the rain off of the hurricane. Ooh, Donna, sorry. They are saying it's going to become a freaking hurricane again. I hope not. I'm not afraid of hurricanes. I lived some of the worst ones on the island, but it's like, howdy, Melissa. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Oh, Karma. If you all make me cry, I'm going to get really mad, so don't do that. All right, so let's take it on from the top so you understand where I'm coming from. As most of you know, whether you're watching this now or on the replay, I had some major losses last week, okay? I had a physical loss, and I had I guess emotional is the word I'm looking for. Hey, Crystal. Okay, cool. Yard work. I don't do yard work. That is the one thing I don't do because I'm afraid of bugs. Um, and the funny thing about the physical loss is that when I found out how my friend died, which I just did like this weekend, it raised more questions than it answered, because I'm hoping he didn't suffer. He died in his sleep. But by the same token, it's like, what? And I'm still dealing with that. And the worst part about it is he was my hairdresser as well as my friend. And the last couple times I had seen him, he had given me his business card, so I would pass them around. And I had given some around, but I had a bunch of them because he gave me a ton of them. And I was cleaning up the room and fixing a bunch of stuff because I'm in the middle of reconfiguring this entire room. And I found 2 of his cards, and automatically went from, yay, I'm cleaning, to, oh my God, blah. So that was hard enough. That was very hard for me. And then, of course, there's this other loss that I have to deal with, which, here's the thing. Sometimes we have more faith and more hopes for people than they do on themselves. And the reality is that I've said this before, and I'm sorry, this is a minor trigger warning for people that are either have had somebody in their life that has done something wrong with their life, whether it's drug related or hurt themselves. It doesn't really matter what you say or do to a person in those situations. If they don't want help, they're not going to get it. That's the end of the trigger warning, because that's all I'm going to say. And so you cannot have more hope on people than they do on themselves. And so I have this person in my life that tends to disappear. And at this particular point in my life, I've decided that if they reappear, they're no longer my concern, which hurts a lot. But I just can't do this anymore. It's hard. It's unbearable because you think they're going to get hurt. And I just can't do it anymore. I can't. And so that was going on. And then, of course, for those of you who are on Twitter, you know I have nosebleeds, which have to do with sinus infections. And I was already mad at that. And then we had the hurricane. And I'm like, on August 1st, I posted on Facebook, 2 personal losses, a nosebleed, and a hurricane. Welcome to level 8 of Jumanji. And people are always asking me, why level 7, level 8? And I'm like, dude, the month is 8, so level 8. That's what I'm doing. However, if we pass January and we're still in this thing, it's going to be 13 because it's been a year and a month. So just so you know. Oh my God, those symbols are cute. What symbols? Hi, Michelle. The pain doesn't fade. I mean, I've heard that before. That's like when people tell me, when your dad goes, it will get less and less and less. No, it doesn't. Every time I remember my dad or my 2 brothers, I turn into a ball of crap. So maybe it's just me that I'm like that. Don't think that I'm dismissing you. Yeah, let's just keep it like that. Oh, okay. I got you. We just had the funeral for our nephew on Saturday. Well, my friend got cremated, but we don't know that he's going to have anything. And we lost a family member a couple months back, and they didn't have a funeral either. This is just so weird. This whole thing is so weird, which is going to take me to the second topic, but I want to finish the first topic. I can't see Hilda's symbols. All I see is 2 squares, just so you know. I don't know why, but I've never been able to see Hilda's symbols. So that's where I am right now. That's why I said this morning I posted something about pain and going through the pain instead of ignoring it, blah, blah, blah. And the reason why I do the check-ins is because I want to check and make sure that you all are okay. And and definitely let me know if you're okay. Um, Let me try mobile. But today I'm the one who's not doing okay. Because I don't know, I guess it gets to be to the point where it's a lot. But I want to tell you something about looks. And oh, yes, you can see it on this. Oh, that's really pretty. Okay, so I saw it. Was just in Florida for my grandmother's funeral. Oh my God. We want to know if you're okay. I'm not, but you know that. Because I've been leaving little cryptic messages everywhere. People figure it out. If you don't allow yourself to grieve properly, it gets worse over time. Yeah. But if even when you grieve, I'm a sucker, I guess. I'm an idiot or something because I will carry it. I mean, my brother's been dead for 20 odd something years. The other one's been dead for 20 because he died on the first day of the first year of the new millennium. My dad's been dead for 4 years. And there are times when certain things happen, I get worse than any other time. So it's one of those things. The pain doesn't fade. Tonight at 1 a.m. is the 1 year mark of my grandson being still. Oh God, don't even get me started on stillborn babies and miscarriages because that's an entire other topic. We can be here forever if I start talking about that. So, and I'm really sorry, Barbara. Hey, Joe, how are you? ISD. Damn, I have a full house today for some reason. To grieve properly from my dad, but my mind won't let me. It's like the loss of too big to process. I can relate to that, Mink, because I've said more than once that my dad was larger than life, and the person that just passed away, my friend, was also larger than life. And ironically, out of all the people that I care about that have passed away, that are like big, big moments in my life, those two are the only two that were older than me. So sometimes I feel like I have to keep living because it would be a dishonor to the people that I love if I'm dead, which I realize is a ridiculous amount of pressure on me and that they wouldn't want me to feel that way. But some days are easier than others, I guess. And it is what it is. But as far as my dad, I try not to get too much into it because I know. I mean, the man was a pain in the ass. I'm not going to lie. And he was the strictest helicopter parent I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I was 50 and he was still being a helicopter parent. But I love that man to no end. I absolutely love that man to no end. And I'm getting sidetracked, so I'm going to go back to the topic because I really need to talk about this. I think I'll never be able to get over the loss of my nephew more so than my mother, maybe because he was 22. That's the other thing. There are some losses that you think, ooh, this is going to hurt more than this. And it turns out, no. They are all so different, though. Oh, I love you too, Karma. Been waiting for 2 fix a week, not trying to be insensitive, just checking in. Oh, Michelle, you're walking for 2 miles 5 days a week? That's awesome. Hi, B. How are you, sweetheart? That is awesome, Michelle. Can we all have like clapping hands for Michelle on the chat? Because that's a big deal. Oh, thank you, Joe. Thank you, B. Thank you so much. Really relate to that sentiment. As if my memories of them keep them alive on this earth is a little bit longer. Yeah, well, that's what they say, that they die, the human form dies, but their spirit stays here. I totally believe that. I absolutely believe that. What's wrong, B? Oh, I like the clapping hands. Thank you, guys. There has to be something we need to celebrate. And no, you're not being insensitive. That's a big achievement, girl. Oh, Joe, thank you, sweetie. I think it's really funny that this thing is telling me to give money to my own live stream. Really? That is so freaking cool. Well, I want to know what's wrong with Miss B. I mean, you don't have to say it if you don't want to say it, but you know. You know what cracks me up is if you all notice, Joe gave me a tip and then she wrote something, a PSA, and I'm totally ignoring the PSA because she knows I hate pineapple on pizza. And that's why she's posting. Well, she's posting it because she loves it, but you know. Yes, she is. Josephine is a very good friend. And I can tell you because she's been my friend through a lot of bullshit. And she's one of the few people I have on my actual Facebook. So I had to be admitted to a behavioral institution. Oh my God. Are you okay? Well, are you still in there? You can't be in there if you're talking here, right? How does that? I don't even know how that works. Are you at least better? So full. I'm glad that you're doing a check-in because I so needed this. Susan, how's your grandma? Don't discriminate the pineapple. Yeah, whatever. You people are strange ones. I promise I'm going to try pineapple pizza one of these days. I'm just not as adventurous as I wish. If you're gonna try pineapple on pizza, there's I don't remember who the company is, but they do it with like chicken, and the sweet of the pineapple and the salty of the chicken is what makes it work. Get yourself something really salty on that pizza, because if not, it's not gonna work as well, in my opinion. No, don't normalize pineapple on pizza. She's not getting much better. They said I'll be lucky if I have 3 to 6 months. Oh my God. I'm sorry, Susan. And it's getting worse. Oh, how you live? Living down on this and looks like. Oh, sweetheart, thank you, Karma. My depression finally got to me. I'm out and I'm currently at home, but I'm not well, to be honest. I don't know how to beat this depression. Hi, Kelly. Okay, so this is what I'm going to tell you, and this is not advice. This is not. I'm not an expert. I don't um, pretend to know what works and what doesn't work for anybody but me. But the one thing that I've been on medication and I've been out of medication. And my problem with being on medication is that it completely kills my imagination and my drive and my need to have opinions. So it's bad for me to be on medication, needless to say. But I've noticed that it doesn't really matter if I'm on medication or not. I still feel the same way I feel. I just can't express it when I'm on medication. It's like I feel like I have a wall inside of my head that doesn't let me. The one thing that I've learned about depression is that the more I fight against it, the worse it gets. And I don't know if that's going to work for you or not. I'm just telling you what has happened to me. And sometimes you just have to let it happen. And I know that sounds horrible, but sometimes you can't fight it because the more you fight it, the worse it is. Exercise works for some of the time. Doing something that I really like to do works some of the time. Talking to you guys works a lot. Talking to people that actually can relate instead of people that are going to tell you, oh, you'll get better. It's okay. It's temporary. That helps a lot. So I don't know if they put you on like a somewhere where you can actually talk to people that are like going through it, going through the gigs. But if you can, do that. And if you don't have anybody to talk to, you can send me a DM whenever you want. Now, keep in mind that I might not answer DMs between the hours of 8:30 p.m. and 4 o'clock in the morning because my ass is asleep. Because I walk every day. I wake up at 4:30 to go walk every day. But I'll be here. I know the feeling, B. I absolutely know the feeling. Because I'm telling you, I absolutely I can't get into the details now because I'm not going to go that far into it. But I know. That's all I can tell you is I know. I know. And it sucks. And it absolutely sucks. But I need to say something before I get into that, because it so happens we're going to talk about something that has to do with that, B. Because I think this time of the, well, not this time of the year, but what's happening in the world right now is getting people to feel weird. And I'm going to get into that in a minute, and I'm going to give you some of it when I do that. Heathen, I used to be at people's beck and call 24/7, and it was greeted with complete disregard for my own personal life, and the person turned on me and is still talking trash about me to this day, even though when they needed me and they were feeling like they had nobody and they had me up at 3-4 o'clock in the morning on text messages, I was there for them. So that's why that stopped. All right, I haven't actually paid attention to the chat. Hey, Dre. So let me get through the first topic that I wanted to talk about, because I'm already 20 minutes in. I want to make sure I talk about all three. I started talking about looks because I'm not wearing any makeup and my hair's a mess. And the other thing about my hair is the last person that cut my hair was my friend. Now I have this really hard, I don't want to touch my hair because he's the last one who cut my hair. I don't know how long that's going to last, but right now I don't want to cut my hair because I feel like I'm being mean to my friend. I realize that he doesn't feel that way, but that's how I feel. People that spend, let me be very clear about how I feel about people that spend all this time talking about all the other people's looks, okay? We all know I had a very public falling out with somebody because they were talking about somebody's looks. Somebody that I don't even like. But at the end of the day, they were talking about people's looks. And Joe, we can talk about that later because I don't know what that means, and I do want it lighter. I've given up on it right now, so we'll talk about that later. Here's the thing. People that spend all this time talking about other people's looks, or if they have some sort of speech impediment, whether it's a language barrier or whatever, or anything that is external to what, let me say it another way. I don't watch people because they're pretty or because they are fancy. I have never cared for what people look like when it comes to that department. In my opinion, you can be as ugly as Dopey from the Seven Dwarfs or any of the Seven Dwarfs. In what's her name? Oh God, Blancanieve, Snow White. All right, you can be as ugly as any of the Seven Dwarfs. If you have a good message, or if you're funny, or if you have something to say that's interesting to me, I'm going to pay attention to you. If you spend all your time complaining about what a person looks like and that's what you're really against, then I can't help you. You have there's nothing between the two ears, really. There isn't, because that shouldn't be your focus. And before somebody comes at me for being against the Seven Dwarfs, maybe you should know. Oh, I didn't realize Gossip Gay had already said something. Before you come at me for that, you have to keep in mind that one of my favorite people in the world, and I do have a huge crush on this man, would be Tyrion Lannister, better known to some of you as Peter Dinklage. I've had a crush on that man since he started making movies. I don't care if he has facial hair, if he doesn't have facial hair. I think he's hot as fuck. So no, it's not about little people. It's about the fact that the seven dwarfs are the ugliest drawings I've ever seen in my life for anybody on freaking Disney. So I find them atrocious. But having said that, hey Amy, I don't really care what people look like. I mean, I've seen some of the ugliest people in the planet transform themselves into the most beautiful people in the world the minute they open their mouth. It's not about makeup. It's not about working out or getting a tan or fixing your hair or fixing your teeth. Hey Luna, it's about, why is everybody talking about Paul Rudd? Jesus Christ. It doesn't matter what you look like. Hi, Marlo. How are you, sweetheart? Yes, you did. What is wrong with people that they think it's okay? And by the way, let me be very clear. If you're drinking with a bunch of friends and some dude goes by and you're like, ugh, that's one thing. We all have said somebody's pretty or ugly, or we're watching Miss Universe and we're like, why is she there? She don't look pretty at all, or whatever. Everybody has at some point said somebody's not pretty, or they're too fat, or they're too skinny, or whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people that go on social media and spend hours upon hours upon hours trashing other people based on looks. Now, most of you who are on this live stream know exactly what I'm talking about, but some of you don't. So I'm not going to get into the specifics, just so you know. But I'm going to say that there's a group of people on social media that find it amusing to take pictures of some people, including myself, manipulate the images so that they look uglier than ugly, and then post them to, I guess, make a point and come after people's looks. And unfortunately, some of us are less skin, our skin is not as thick as we wish, and we get hurt by that stuff. And what I'm going to say about that is this. It is awful, it is rude, and it is disrespectful, Marlo, but you're pretty, so you're never going to have that problem. I'm kidding. I mean, she is pretty. Wait. She's pretty. I met her in person. She's pretty. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, we all get it. It doesn't matter how pretty you are. Some people are going to try to make you ugly no matter what. But let me be very clear. I know this is something, and somebody said something to me on Twitter today, and I was like, I'm trying to learn. I mean, it's a struggle every day with some of this stuff. But the bottom line is this. People that actually take the time to complain about other people's looks couldn't possibly be happy with themselves. Okay? I don't care who you are. If you spend your life trashing other people's looks, you have a problem with your looks, which it's probably warranted. I don't know. I know some beautiful girls who have never thought of themselves as pretty, ironically, have never seen them trash somebody else on looks. So, and I'm telling you because I went to school with this group of girls who, by the way, to this day, they're still friends. And two of these girls were model looking gorgeous. Okay. In fact, one of them was a model. And ironically, neither one of them thought they were that great beauty when they were young. They were, by the way. And they could always, like, if you talk to them, they could always tell you, oh, my nose is too long, or my ears are this, or whatever, which was hilarious for me to sit there and go, what the hell is wrong with you? You're gorgeous. But they never picked on somebody else on looks, which is why I'm still friends with them to this day. And I went to school with these girls. And I've always admired that about them, because even when you don't feel you're that great looking, to not go for somebody's looks, to me, it says a lot about you. But the opposite is also true. If all you do is pick on people's looks, something as superficial and as ridiculous, because let's face it, I could get hit. A tree can travel, hit my window, hit me on the face, destroy my face, and that, well, hopefully I don't die, and that won't stop me from being me. So if you're really worried about looks, you're really worried about something that is so stupid. Number one. Number two, if you're worried about looks and you're not concentrating on the content of the person itself or their message, what does that say about you? How superficially stupid are you? And by the way, I'm not reading the chat all the time, so I apologize. What's wrong with Paul Rudd? Oh my God. The Paul Rudd thing is a joke. I'm not going to get into that now. Somebody please help Ilda, because she thinks something happened to him. So I wanted to make that very clear. And it's always the same group of people that are stupidly saying the same crap. So I really don't give a crap about them. I just want them to, I wish they would stop. They're not going to stop. But shit, I'm grabbing the wrong phone. I just wanted to make that the first point of the day. The second point of the day is I was talking, and this is where it be still here might help a little bit. I don't know, but I thought it might. All right. Hold on a second, because now I can't find it. Here we go. No. All right. So one of the things that I was told, and I do believe the person's here, is anyone finding that if they hit even a tiny bump in the road, metaphorically, it sends them straight into panic mode? I'm assuming that means I'm in a state of stress all the time, and that's why I have an extreme reaction, but I don't actually feel stressed. It's very odd. And somebody answered, yes, except I'm stressed and anxiety-ridden 24/7. And the person said, I'm starting to wonder if I've somehow gotten used to the stress to the point that my base level for normal is nowhere near where it should be. Like, I don't consciously feel stressed, but if there's a sudden noise, I physically jump and my heart pounds. It happened this morning, and the sudden noise was just the clink of one of the dog's ID tags against the floor as they lay down. Now, bias the love you. Thank you for coming, sweetheart. And thank you for your message. That's really sweet of you, sweetie. And the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because I ate fried chicken and pork chops all weekend. I'm a mess. Oh my God, Marlo. That sounds delicious, though. The reason why I want to bring that up is because I try to do these so people can check in and let me know if they're okay, if they're not okay, if they're having a hard time or not. And I try to make it a little funny sometimes so that people can get the stress out. I go on rants, which I'm about to go on a rant in a little bit because the last message of the day has to do with doxing. So there goes my monetization, but I don't care. It has to be said. So, but there is something to be said for people being stressed and for people being a little bit more stressed than usual right now because of this whole situation. I mean, we have entire states that are going through hell. I said very famous last words that I was pretty sure that before the 15th, we were going to have 3% of the population testing positive for COVID. The number for today is 514,000. The magic number that I'm saying we're going to have by the 15th of August is 660,000, which would be 3% of the 21 million people living in Florida. I think we're going to smash that record. And that's not something I should be happy about. Production will be mailed out. Marissa Baby Onesies is already being shipped. She's posting her comeback video today. Yes, she is. Not another housewife is posting her comeback video today, just so you all know. Hey, Fedora. So the reason why I wanted to bring out the stress thing is because depression and stress are two things that are getting very hyped up right now because of people not the uncertainty, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. We're living through very uncertain times. You have a bunch of people that are science deniers and are hell bent on saying that this COVID thing is a manufactured thing by the Democrats. Ironically, their leader is the one who wants to delay the election. I guess he doesn't know that if he's not elected by January 20th, he's not the president of the United States, according to our Constitution. Dumbass. He wants to. He decided that the reporters were not going to be there for his whatever you call this. He's running for president again, so that whole ceremony. Personally, I think that's a waste of time and money. But that's me. Hey, Molly. So, who's using it for political gain? No offense. They all are. That's beside the point. Leave the freaking politicians out of the equation and think logically for a second. Why would you send unless you have a situation where like you have special needs kids and they need some sort of assistance, which by the way, the school system should already figure this out to give parents of special needs children the help that they need already. But that's another topic for another day. Because the reason why I'm bringing up the whole thing about the elections and whatnot is because the same person that wants kids to go back to school immediately, his child doesn't have to go to school until October. I haven't even checked if his grandchildren are going to school or not. If you're not willing to put your skin on the game, you should not ask people to put their skin on that game. That's all I'm saying. And so all of this is stressing people out. Fair enough. I totally understand. If you want to look at it from my perspective, y'all know I was stuck in this house for 3 years. 8 months ago, I started being able to go out, and now I have to stay in the house. I don't know if you've ever had to deal with something like that, but it's literally driving me crazy. I quit smoking 2 months ago on the 31st. I really want a cigarette because this whole thing is stressing me out. I went for a drive today. I drove for an hour aimlessly because I just wanted to be out of the house. And now I have air conditioner so I can do it. But we're all feeling it. And I think this person nailed it when they said, thank you, Dre. I think this person nailed it when they said that their base level for stress has changed because of this whole situation. And we don't think that we're stressed, but we are, if that makes sense. And I don't know how to tell you that we need to find ways to get out of the depression and out of the anxiety we're dealing with, because this couldn't possibly be good for us at all. I don't think it is. I mean, I go to walk every morning. I walk 4 miles. I'm trying to add another mile, which is hard because the thing is 2 miles one way. And I have tried to figure out how to add another mile, but basically I would have to walk half a mile and then walk back and then start walking again. And it's kind of annoying. But hey, vice versa. How are you, sweetie? I don't work. This is my work. So I'm working. So literally, I'm scared in case we have another full lockdown. And that's the thing. And I don't want to get political, okay? This is not about any political person, fat but alive. Well, I wish I could say I'm fat but alive, but I'm like depressed and alive, so I guess it's the same thing. Here's the thing, and this is the part that's driving me crazy. We are going through a situation. Oh, thank you, Susan. Because being a rock star is, oh, you're going to make me cry. Stop trying to make me cry, people. Here's the thing. We're living through some very odd circumstances. And there are entire countries that might end up locking down again. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, if we would have done this right the first time, we wouldn't be going through this now. Everybody should have locked down and started figuring out ways of getting people back to work safely. And some companies did it. I mean, my husband and my daughter work from home. I realize not every job can work from home, by the way. But if there's ways that you can have people working from home, there is no reason for them to be working in an office. Okay? The people that have to go out because they have to work outside, I'm sorry, but they're the priority. They're the priority. To see people that to this day are bitching about wearing a damn mask instead of just wearing the mask and getting on with their day, it's pathetic. If you are such a badass, go drive without a seatbelt on and see what happens to your ass. Last time I looked, if you have children, you put them in car seats. That's what the government told you to do. You can't drink and drive because it's illegal. And the government told you that. So what the fuck are you saying? I mean, seriously, I'm tired of these people. And I understand that some people don't believe. You know what? I don't care if you believe it or not. Just do it and shut the fuck up. Okay? That's my opinion. Now, if you want me to give you a reason to wear a mask that has nothing to do with corona, I'm going to give you one right now. Did you know that when somebody sneezes, it could travel up to 20 feet? Do you really want somebody else's snot in your mouth? Because I don't. Sorry, I had to go there because I love that analogy, so I'm using it. But I don't want people snot in my face. Sorry. I don't. And I realize that if you're wearing a mask and you sneeze, you're going to have snot on you. But that's your own snot. Deal with it. Survive a trip to the shopping center yesterday. My mask is too big, so it tries to block my eyes, but I wore. Look, every single mask I've worn, every single one of them, makes my fogs my freaking glasses. Hi, Alessia. Hi, Nessa. Do you know what? I don't give a fuck. Because I would rather trip on myself and have a laugh than end up with a ventilator. And this is coming from somebody that uses the pump because I get short of breath. Okay? I'm tired of every time I feel a little sick thinking that I have the Rona. I am tired of it. Right now, I'm sick as a dog. I know it has nothing to do with Rona because the first thing that they tell you about Rona is that you have a dry cough and you can't. I don't have any of that stuff. If anything, I have the opposite. I'm sneezing like a daredevil and I'm like snotty and shit. So I know it's not the Rona. But you really think I'm going to put other people at risk? I'm not. And it drives me crazy that people are so fucking selfish in this. And then they get mad when people show them being that selfish. Well, you're the one who's being an asshole. I mean, seriously. And I'm not going to. Luna, I know. And I know that you were lucky enough that nothing bad happened to you. But I just had, and I've told you this before, but it so happened that it happened to me today. I have a friend that just buried somebody from Rona. And that's part of the problem. There's a lot of people that get Rona and either don't have symptoms or get the mild version. But there's people that can die from this. And some people have the theory that has to do with weight and pre-existing conditions. And there's a video coming about that. Don't worry about it. It's coming. It will be done before the week is over, by the way. That one is coming because I need to make sure that I do it this week. Because I need to get my head out of all the grief in my life. But, and I've compared this, and I think we had this conversation before. There's a thing in Puerto Rico called dengue. And if you're Puerto Rican, you know exactly what dengue is. Dengue is a bug bite. It comes from a bug bite. And we have 4 versions of it. One of them is mild, and by the way, by mild I mean it knocked me out for 9 days, and I don't remember most of the 9 days because I was sleeping most of the 9 days. Or it could be what we call bleeding. I don't know how to say it in English, but it's basically you bleed internally, and you have to be in a hospital because you can die. So you can go from really mild to this one. By the way, the mild one, I got rid of 7 pounds that time. So it's mild dengue fever. Yeah. How do you say dengue hemorrágico in English though? Because I don't know how to say it. Hemorrhage. I don't know how to say that word anyway. Yeah, hemorrhagia. I don't know how to say that word in English. So if you can put it in English on the chat so people know what I'm talking about. But I've had family members that almost died from that. So to me, I can compare the Rona to that because I've known people, me included, that had dengue fever, and I mean, I got a week off from work, and and it so happens it was the week before the Christmas party, so I did make it to the Christmas party. I looked really great on my dress, but it was because I had just gotten rid of 7 pounds because I was like, ah. But I got the mild version. But that doesn't take away from my brother who had the worst version. And I think my sister-in-law had the worst. My sister-in-law, if I'm not mistaken, ended up in the hospital. So that's the problem with this illness. That you can have the mild version, and I can have the one where you're asymptomatic, but somebody else can die. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's driving me crazy that people don't pay attention and are not. And at the end of the day, look, this is really simple. If you have a pre-existing condition that supposedly you can't wear a mask, what the hell are you doing outside to begin with? You shouldn't be outside because you're a danger to yourself and to everybody else. Because let's not forget that you can have it, be asymptomatic, and spread it to everybody around you. And they might not have the asymptomatic. They might die from it. Of me having Rona, I was hospitalized for 4 weeks. Okay, so you were hospitalized for 4 weeks? Oh my God. But you survived. But there's people that have been asymptomatic. That's what I'm trying to say. I didn't mean to put it on you. But you know what I'm saying? That some people have had like the mild version. And you were in the hospital for 4 weeks. I've known people that have only been in the hospital for 1 week, and then I've known people that have been in the hospital for 6 weeks. There's no knowing what the hell this thing is. And you know what's the worst part about this? And this is what scares me, that we don't know what's going to happen after. Dengue hemorrhagic. I don't know how to say that word, but y'all, Alessia wrote it for y'all because I can't spell it or say it. Hemorrhagic? I don't know how to say that. Anyway. My biggest fear about the stupid Rona is that I don't know what's going to happen after. If it's going to be like the chicken pox, is it the chicken pox? The one that gives you that crap that you can get the varicella. If you have varicella, you can get shingles later. And it can show up on any time. Can you imagine if we find out 2, 3, 4 years from now that stays on your body and it causes you something completely unrelated? That scares stuff out of me. Hemorrhagic. So I said it right then. That was pretty good, actually. You all did good. Chicken pox. Yeah. You get chicken pox now, you can get shingles later. It can show up at any time. It might not show up ever. We don't know what this thing is going to do. So at this point, I think, and here's the thing, I don't believe in closing the entire, I don't know that closing countries is going to do anything. But I'm looking at my little island, who just survived the worst hurricane in its history, Maria, a few years ago, and now are getting a second wind. They shut down completely. They wouldn't let anybody in. They did everything right. But when they opened, they didn't do it right. And now they're having a second coming of Christ in that freaking island. And it scares the crap out of me. It absolutely scares the crap out of me because I still have too many family members there. No, and these are some who are permanently disabled now because of it. Yeah, some people have had, I don't know, Luna, did you have any side effects from this at all that you know of? I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I kind of sort of curious if you feel like you're all the way normal or not. And you don't have to go into details. I just want to know if you feel like you're okay now or if you don't. Trading between humans and animals, this is not good. Yeah, that's another thing. We just had the first dog in the US die, and then we have minks, was it, that showed up with the symptoms, and a cat. I'm like, what the you know, some people have suffered permanent lung damage. Yeah. And that's my issue with this. Just it's been it adds to the stress level of all of us to know in the back of your head you can go outside today and get Rona. So that's already stressful. But then you have to sit at home with all the stuff of being at home, and that adds to the stress level. We're not even talking about the millions of people who have a partner who is not exactly a nice person and is abusive to them. How are those people doing? That adds to their stress. Even in the best of circumstances, being locked in with people that you love is going to be stressful. It is. It's okay, Susan. So, at the end of the day, I think our level of stress is changing to cope with everything that's going on. But I don't think we're noticing it until we get stressed out by, like what she said. You hear a sound and it's like you have an overreaction, because I know I'm having overreactions, but I'm normally like that. So I'm very overly dramatic, according to one of my friends. I've seen articles that those who recover from COVID don't recover 100%. They've got weakened lungs, hearts, and such. Oh, yeah, I hope Luna doesn't get that. But I think Luna's not here anymore, so she won't tell. She won't be able to tell me. But oh, she is here. Hold on. It's good. I have lupus and a bunch of crap, so yeah, I still don't have strength. And one of my lungs has issues. I still have dry cough and irregular heartbeat, and everything tastes. Wow, really? How long ago did you move? I know. I am so sorry. I'm putting you on the spot, but I'm so freaking curious. How long ago did you get, like, okay? How long ago was the 4 weeks? I guess is what I'm trying to say. That's a scary thought, though, because you have lupus. That's another thing that we're not even close to knowing. When people have other things, like she has lupus. I have a friend that has fibromyalgia and me. Well, I have several. I have a lot of friends that have fibromyalgia and me because we kind of bonded over my disastrous 3 years. March. Holy crap, girl! You're talking about 4 months. I am so sorry. That is freaking crazy. Oh my God. You see, that's what worries me. Because people with pre existing conditions have the possibility of having even longer effects from this. Like people, it can be something compared to lupus, I'm saying, as simple as diabetes, which can be mild or it can be bad. Um, People that have lupus, people that have fibro, people that have um, muscular dystrophy or anything. Oh my God. It causes atrophy of the cells in the organs, those may never repair. See what I'm saying? We don't know what we're dealing with. Oh, and I don't mean that we know, well, we don't know what we're dealing with, but we don't know what the effect is going to be. And that, I think, adds to the stress. My best friend recently got a surprise diagnosis of pregnancy at 40. She's due at the end of January. She has lupus, fibromyalgia, and severe RA. So she's in extreme lockdown. And you know what? That's the kind of friend that Zoom, FaceTime, whatever, but I'm not visiting your ass. Not even when you have the baby, because I don't want to risk it. I don't want to put them in jeopardy. And I see a lot of my friends are going out and doing things that I think are stupid, personally. So my ass is staying home and not visiting you. And I hope you don't take offense to that, because I think you're stupid. I don't say it like that, but that's what I'm thinking, because it's like, no. I have a husband with diabetes and cancer survivor. I'm a survivor of whatever I had, and some other stuff that I'm not going to get into. I have an illness that sometimes feels like I have the flu 24/7, stomach flu. So if you think I'm going to risk it, I mean, I go everywhere with a mask right now. Even when we took the trip to Texas, we had the mask on the entire time. And my in-laws are used to washing their hands. They have the thing on the car so you can like clean your hands as soon as you get to the car. And people are like, well, it's a virus. It's not and I'm like, I understand that. But at this point, anything that can be used to help, I don't care. Okay. I don't care. I'm doing it. I come home from outside, and unless I stayed in the car the entire time, I am going to wash everything I'm wearing, including my hair, which is why my hair is a mess in the back. It's like dead. I don't do anything. I go to Costco as I have to shop, but I go out in a plastic bag, gloves, and face shield. Yeah. My in-laws had, for their trip to Puerto Rico, they had the face shield and the mask and the whole 9 yards. And thank God they made it to Puerto Rico. And by the way, until they made it to Puerto Rico in one piece, I didn't feel like my mission was accomplished. For those of you who don't know, short version of the long story. My in-laws were moving back to Puerto Rico. They did last week. They had to drive, but they were moving permanently. They've been traveling, and they had stuff here and stuff over there. And one of the stuff was their car. So what they had to do was drive from Texas to Florida to turn the car into the boat so they could send it to Puerto Rico. And unfortunately, one of them landed in the hospital the week before they were supposed to come here, which is why I volunteered to drive to Texas, because I don't fly. And anyways, who wants to fly on a petri dish right now? I drove to Texas, and then I drove them back in their car. And then once they got to Florida, they had a couple days here, and then they left, and they went to Puerto Rico. And until they landed in Puerto Rico, I don't care what happens to the car. The car was in one piece in the boat. So now if something happens to it, it's the boat's fault. But I wanted to make sure that they got him home in one piece. Because, as you guys know, my dad's dead. The only dad I have left is this man. And my mom doesn't know who she is. So technically, the only mom I have left is this woman. I was not going to risk them getting hurt. I just wasn't. That's the way I feel about it. Now, unfortunately, that left me wanting to travel all over the United States. And as you all know, we can't do that right now. So it's like crazy. But it is what it is. No, I'm home. I have at-home health visits and things. Everyone, I've been sick forever. I don't even know how I tested positive, because they didn't want me to go in ER, but it got real bad. That's crazy. That is crazy. I'm glad you made it, because it sounds like it was a nightmare. And to me, anybody that's made it out of this disease is like, they have my heart, because I know that's not easy. Except for the people that have an asymptomatic, which is like, I would like to feel sorry for you, but I can't and sort of can't, because you didn't have any symptoms. But that's another story for another day. The first time. So today is 14 days. We're up. So had another test, and sure enough, they say it's positive. Oh my God. My cousin got his first tattoo today and sat for 4 hours in a mask and face shield. Yep. Some of the medics think we stay positive for much longer than 14 days, so don't test it positive after a couple months. Yeah. And that's another thing. how do you know if you're testing positive because you still have the antibodies, or because, you know what I mean? It's like, are we going to get it again? Is it going to be like dengue, which clears you for 10 years, or are you going to have it again 2 months from now? It's just crazy. Gatherings from 50 to 250 people. That is ridiculous, Molly. My mom is like yours now, but I'm the early stages. Alessia, it's a picnic you don't want. And welcome to the club that nobody wants to be a member of. Because I would rather have cancer 500 times than have to deal with Alzheimer's ever again. And I realize how horrible that sounds, but that's how I feel. And people that have dealt with this on a personal level can probably relate to what I'm saying. I would like to give a shout out to a often forgotten sector of essential workers, researchers. Most definitely, Molly, I agree with you. Researchers don't get enough love, and even though sometimes researchers make a mess, but that happens with every field, I think researchers don't get enough love, and they should, because they're the ones that are trying to figure out what the hell this is. So I don't even get it. As far as I know, we still have the worst of it in the country. Yes, we do. I mean, Molly, no, I'm sorry. I don't know who has the worst of it. I think it's the US, but I could be wrong. Hey, Courtney. All right, so I'm gonna deal with the last topic of the. Oh my God, here we go. We're gonna deal with that line for one more week, and then we're done because I'm moving this desk from here to here. All right, so we're gonna talk about a little different topic right now. By a show of fives, I need to know how many people saw the statement released by the federal judge who just had her son murdered and her husband injured in their house. She released it this morning. Partner in crime is a research tech, and he's been working this whole time, and they never get mentioned in the thank you. Well, guess what, Molly? Thank him for me, and thank all his associates, co-workers, however you call it, because I know this is one of those things that it's like a guessing game, trying to figure out what the hell is happening before it kills all of us. So thank him for me. That's what I meant when they make a bigger mess. It's because unfortunately they don't know either. So it's like testing ground. Saw it but didn't get to read it yet. Now you just have to see it because she says everything. Worst in Canada. The US is the worst globally. I got you, Molly. Did this happen in the US? Courtney, are you asking me about the judge? Yes. Okay, so I only have 1, 2, 3 fives. So nobody else saw it. Okay, give me a 6 if you didn't see it yet. What was her statement? I haven't seen anything about it yet. I'm gonna get to it in a minute. I need a 6 if you didn't see it, a 5 if you saw it. Yes, Courtney, it was here in the US. She was home when it happened, so I'll get to it in a second. That's okay. Whose statement? The federal judge that her son got killed and her husband got injured last week. She's Latina too, by the way. And you can tell. Not because of the way she looks, although you can tell by that too, but because we all have this little accent when we talk, even if we were raised there, which you know what I'm talking about. I was just saying that Frankie Legs has upped gatherings from 50 to 250, but at least masks are mandatory. I still think that's a risk. Molly. That's a risk you don't need. The judge assigned to Grisham case, and they're claiming it's some dude who doesn't like women. I had that one. Okay, So I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you, in karma, you are going to understand what I'm talking about in a second. Actually, all of you are, but let's get into it. So, I suggest you all see it with like a box of tissues, because whether you're a mom, a wife, a spouse of any kind, um, a family member of any kind, it's going to make you cry. It is. But if you happen to be a mother of an only child, or in the case of karma, um, like many other people, somebody that struggled to have children, it's going to make you cry even more, because you couldn't imagine life without your children. Now, I'm not going to get into all the specifics of what she said, but I will tell you this. They were celebrating her son's birthday. That was her only child. And he turned 20. And they were celebrating his birthday that weekend. So when this whole thing happened, they had been celebrating his birthday. And she was in the basement with her son, but they heard the knock on the door and the kid ran upstairs, and the kid decided to shield his father, which is why he ended up with one gunshot to the chest, dead immediately. The guy actually shot her husband 3 times, or at least he got him 3 times. I don't know why he didn't go all the way to her. I'm assuming it's because he didn't have a silencer, so he figured out somebody had hurt him and decided to flee. But the bottom line is that the reason why she was making the statement that she was making is because all her information was public knowledge and it was on the internet. Which brings me to the reason why I'm bringing this up, and there will be a video about this, but I decided I wanted to say it as many times as possible, because you all know how I feel about doxing. And I happen to know that some of you that watch me don't see anything wrong with doxing. I'm going to explain to you why it is wrong and why people like me think it's wrong. Yes, it's true that all of our information is free and available on the internet, but you would have to search for it. And what makes doxing a problem is not the fact that you're providing the information. It's the fact that you're providing the information with the intent to hurt somebody, to harass somebody, to put somebody in harm's way. And that's why in some places it is illegal to do so. In the United States, it is not illegal to do so. But if you can establish a pattern of harassment, including the doxing, the person can end up in a world of trouble. Now, as a person who has been doxed twice, which is why a lot of you have asked me to add you on Facebook and you have not been added. I apologize in advance, but unless I've known you for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and you are a ride or die of mine, you will not be on my Facebook for another couple of years, because I do not, at this particular point, I don't. And the main reason being is not even because of me and the fact that my full name is on my Facebook. It's because my family is on my Facebook. And I've seen what some of these idiots do to family members, and I really don't want my family exposed. For those of you who don't know, Gossip Gay, who we know as Jamie, his father's Facebook was posted on social media, and they posted the man's address. If you have a problem with Jamie, and I just noticed that you said that, if you have a problem with Jamie, have the problem with Jamie. And I'm not saying dox him either. What I'm saying is have the problem with Jamie. Trash talk all you want, but there's no need for you to bring up his personal information. Same goes with Karma, same goes with Beauty Heathen or Joe or anybody else. That's one thing. Number 2, there is no reason why you should be able to use your freaking screen name and not have your real name or your real face pictured on your Twitter or whatever social media you use, but you expect other people to break their anonymity for your sake. I don't know if you guys remember this, but sometime last year, T-Spill was getting the shit beat out of her because they wanted her to admit that she was an Asian American young woman. First of all, who the fuck cares what she looks like? And second of all, half of the people saying this don't have their name on their screen name. So why should I respect your anonymity but then not respect hers? That makes absolutely no sense. Third of all, I don't know how many times we've seen it, that people get judged, juried, and canceled over a 40-second video or a 1-minute video of one interaction in their entire fucking life. Now, do I think that some of these people should be allowed to breathe? No, because they're racist or they're misogynist or whatever. And I have a hard time thinking that you have only been that way for this 40 seconds in this video. Okay? However, there are people that we've seen their interactions, and I'm not convinced that they were being racist. I'm convinced they were being stupid, but I'm not convinced that they were doing it because they were racist so much as they were scared or they were stressed. And we go back to this whole thing about being stressed at this particular point in time in life. So for you to give me a 40-second video of a Karen and then tell me to assume that she's doing it because she's racist, and not once has she said the N-word to you or said anything that I can assume it's racist, I have a problem with that. But the worst part about that is that you post that video on social media, and within an hour, people have figured out this person's name, this person's address, this person's phone number, and instead of just giving it to the authorities if there's a crime being committed, they go ahead and post it on social media so that the person gets bashed. You don't know who you're giving this information to. I have said this before. You don't know who's a lunatic and is going to go and try to hurt Jamie or Joe or anybody else, or Karma. Karma had a situation this weekend where somebody, and I realize this person knows her personally, but still, this person actually called the authorities to try to have her children removed over internet shit. Are you fucking crazy? Have all the arguments you have on social media. Personally, you guys know that if you haven't noticed, I'm staying the fuck away from all this shit. Yeah, I know what's going on because I'm in belonging people's discords, and every once in a while I'll read some of it. But I'm not aware enough. I'm rarely ever awake long enough. And I'm just not, I don't want to get involved in all the madness, but that doesn't mean I don't see it. And for any person, and this is what you guys, not you guys specifically, but people don't understand. For every normal human being that will just ignore the information, there is one idiot that will try to hurt somebody because they have their personal information. If you don't remember or you weren't here when it happened, somebody from Australia actually threatened to hurt me and then proceeded to dox me on social media. If you don't think I took that threat seriously, you're insane. The person was in Australia, and everybody was like, well, the person is in Australia. What makes you think that somebody from the U.S. is now friends with this person, and because they are hurt, according to their logic, they don't come here and kill me? Because it can happen. I go to walk every morning. Well, now I'm not walking at the same time, so I can tell you. I used to go to walk at 5:45 in the morning every morning. And by the time I got to the park, it was empty. And people thought, you're crazy because if you're worried about somebody hurting you. No, I actually have people looking for me, looking at, making sure that I was okay, which is probably the reason why I wasn't that scared. But the last couple of weeks, I was feeling a little like, damn, you're stupid because you know people might be chasing you. I don't go anywhere without knowing exactly how many cars are around me and what people look like. Because if I have to talk to the cops about a particular person that hurt me, I need to know what they look like. Which is a little harder now with the mask, but not impossible. You don't get over this. For the people that think it's okay to dox other people because the information is on the internet, you don't get over this like that. You spend months, if not years, wondering who is looking at you funny and why they're looking at you funny. Because you're not thinking that they're just stupid. No, you're thinking maybe this is one of those morons from the internet that is trying to figure out how I do stuff so that they can come and hurt me later. If you think that I don't have at least 5 people at all times that know exactly where I am in case something happens to me, you're insane. I have an entire system of people that have to either call me or text me. If you see me walking in the morning, you know I am answering people on text. And the reason for that is because people are making sure that I'm still walking and something didn't happen to me. And that's true for everything I do. And it's been 2 years. And I still have to do that. So if you think doxing people is fun or funny or it's not that deep, you're fucking insane. Ask Jamie. Ask Joe when somebody who will not be named right now decided to kind of expose her by posting something that Joe said a long time ago in somewhere where people are not allowed to go freely into. The fuck? Joe has had quite a few scares herself. So has Karma, so has Jamie. So they know what I'm talking about. And yeah, many of us say, it's not that deep. But yeah, in the back of your head, it's not what you're thinking. It is not okay. And when the judge said that her information was publicly available on the internet and that she wanted to end that, I posted her statement and I said, just so we're clear, and this, I'm paraphrasing, just so you're clear, this can happen to any of us. And it can. Because the problem on social media right now is that if you disagree with me on any particular topic, you have the right to get rightfully offended and get mad at me and want to hurt me. Which I don't understand when we took that corner. But we did. Somewhere along the line, we decided that if people don't agree with us, they should be dead. The fuck? I thought this was a free country where people had freedom of speech and freedom of expression. And I'm not saying that you can just say whatever you want and not be punished for it. But what I'm saying is, if you like blue and I like red, there is no reason why we should be dead because we like blue and you like red. And that's the kind of petty bullshit that is happening right now. And I gotta be honest with you, I don't like Jeffree Star anymore. And I'm going to use him as an example because it's a polarizing example and I think it's a perfect one. Hey, Vanessa. Thank you, Luna. I don't like Jeffree Star anymore. But I'm not going to kill somebody that does. Or I'm not going to get into a spat with somebody because they do. Because yes, I understand the reasons why some people don't like him. I understand the reasons why some people like him. I don't care if he's a racist or if he's a bad friend or whatever. I care that this man is, because the reason why I don't care if he's a racist is because he still has employees working for him and you don't want to necessarily cancel him because these people need to make a living. This is where it bothers me. It bothers me because this person takes no accountability and he has suffered nothing from all of his wrongdoings. And I include the racism in there. So I wanted to make clear that it's not that I don't care that he's a racist. I definitely do, but that's what I'm saying. What? Just for the record, it was Quimby Handcroft who doxed my address. I don't know who Quimby is. Quimby is one of those people like Reese's and that you all know, and I have no fucking clue who they are. But if that person was the one who released your address, that's wrong. And I'm sorry, but that's just wrong. Think some like reality and common sense. There is no common sense. Common sense should be called something else because it's definitely not common and it makes no sense. In your own YouTube chat, that's messed up. Amy, it doesn't matter if you apologize or you don't apologize, and I'm going to tell you why. I am a firm believer that it's not the apology what matters, it's what you do afterwards. I've seen Jeffrey apologize now 3 times, and he's still getting clocked for the same stuff. And I can forgive you the first time. I might give you a pass the second time. But by the third time, and considering everything else that's coming out, I can't. I just can't. I can't. And he can be shady, and I don't necessarily mind shady, because at the end of the day, hey JJ, at the end of the day, when you have people that are being shady against each other, I think it's more of a marketing move than anything else. So I don't really pay attention to that. But there's things about Jeffrey that I can no longer support. However, having said that, I'm okay if you still support him. I would never tell you not to support him because that's your choice. And by the way, the fact that you support him does not make me think that you're racist or misogynist or whatever the hell that he's accused of, okay? Let me make that very clear. The fact that a person supports somebody other than Donald Trump, because on Donald Trump's, I have to make the distinction because there's something about him that I'm not going to get into in this video because I said I was not going to talk politics. But other than Donald Trump, any person that you support that has been caught being X, Y, or Z, I don't care what it is. Hey, Coco. Hey, Tara. I'm saying hi to people that probably in the chat for a while, and I just noticed now, just so you all know. The fact that you support somebody doesn't make you whatever they are. This is why I have a problem with people complaining about every single one of Jeffrey Epstein's friends or that guy that got caught that was a Hollywood producer. Just because you know somebody doesn't know that you know everything that they do. It doesn't. I know people that have been married. I remember this in this case. It has always stuck with me. I remember this lady that was married to this guy who was a jeweler. He had the most expensive, beautiful jewelry store in Old San Juan. Okay. One day out of the blue, the FBI took over the store and nobody knew why. It turns out that in his spare time, and this makes me think that he might have been a little bit of a sociopath or a psychopath. I don't know. But in his spare time, he was bored. So he was a murderer for hire. And his wife didn't know, and his child didn't know. So just because you know somebody doesn't mean that you agree with what they do or even know what they do. So no, I can't blame anybody for being a fan of somebody, and I cannot assume that somebody is a racist or a misogynist or a transphobe or whatever based on the fact that they like a particular person. And yes, there are people that even though somebody is that way, they still like them because their talent has nothing to do with their thought process. And I understand all of that. Jeffree Star did not apologize because he's sorry. He apologized because he still wants to collect checks. That's another thing, but that's a topic for another day. And yeah, I have a problem with apologies for several reasons. That's one of them. You can know someone your whole life and not really know them. JJ, exactly. That's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. And I met the son of the jeweler. I met him when he was in college. So I didn't meet him when the whole thing happened. It happened, I want to say it was like 8 years after the whole thing happened. And you could tell by the conversations that I had with this kid that he was still completely messed up in the head. Because he knew his father as this, and his father was this. And that is true for any single person that has ever dealt with somebody that is accused of something and they didn't know. So please don't think, if I ever tell you that I don't like a particular person, please don't think that I'm telling you that you have to dislike them too. That's not what I'm saying. I would never say that. Because it took me a while to stop liking Jeffrey. So I rewatched all JS apologies before I made my Jeffrey I'm done video. They're literally all the same. I don't believe his story, but I don't hate people who do still support him. Exactly. I feel bad for his family. For whose family, Beauty? Heathen? Although I do blame people who enable bad behavior, like those who helped Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein, thank you, commit his crimes and covered them up. Here's where I have a problem with that, Molly, and I'm going to equate this one to Bill Cosby. In Hollywood, for what I understand, and keep in mind I'm not a Hollywood person, I don't know if this is true. Hey, Frog, I am not. No, you're not at the end. I don't know. I might be here for 5 more minutes or 10. I don't know. I don't really know how Hollywood stuff works, but to me, it works like any other industry where people say things. And there was a lot of rumors about his behavior. Just like Bill Cosby, there were a lot of rumors about his behavior. But here's the thing. I remember when I was growing up, my dad used to work for a particular company that I'm not going to mention today. And everybody knew who was cheating on their wife. Everybody knew who was having a side business on the side that might not be legal. Everybody knew everything, but it was all rumors. And because you don't have evidence, you can't take it to the cops and say, well, I heard a rumor. And that's a catch-22. Do you still hang out with that person or do you not? Now, keep in mind that in the case of Bill Cosby and Weinstein, because it was crimes of a sexual nature, let's put it that way, people assume he's just cheating on his wife, and they don't look past the idea of how he's cheating on his wife. And that's a problem. But because, if you're okay with cheaters, and most men are like, most people don't think that is a big deal, which baffles my imagination, but that's, So are you really allowing the behavior, or are you just thinking that it's one thing when it's the other? Because let's keep it real. There are people that have done the same thing and they're still in their jobs and they're still doing their jobs. So, and nobody's coming for them, even though they have 20, 30 people accusing them of stuff. So that's why I don't, if it's a rumor and you haven't seen the person doing something, I can't necessarily take it against them because I'm not in their shoes, if that makes sense. I had a friend in a company that I used to work for, and he was he was having an affair. And I didn't know the spouse. I didn't know the wife. I knew the girlfriend. Actually, in the beginning, I thought the girlfriend was the wife. I didn't know that was not the. And the thing about it is that this person on paper was a perfect human being. Perfect human being. The only flaw in this person's life was that. And I had known this person for a long time before I found this out because, again, I thought the girlfriend was the wife. It took me a long time to process that one. But in the end, I did give him a pass because he was such a great person everywhere else. At the end of the day, I don't, and this is a different case because this was only one person and the person was an adult themselves. Here's the thing. I don't know what goes on inside a marriage, so I cannot say anything. It is very clear to me that whether it was an afterthought or it happened while they were married, in the case of Bill Cosby, the wife didn't have a problem with the husband cheating. So can I be the moral police and police my friend because he's cheating on his wife? I don't know what's going on in that marriage. So I can't judge it. However, having said that, I'm also going to say the other side of the coin. If you are okay with a person that's a habitual cheater, what else are they cheating on? What else are they doing? Because there's a big difference between somebody having an affair, whether it's a long one or a short one, having one, and having a woman in every port, like they could say. To me, there's a difference. How do you judge that? Had a lot of jobs. If I know my employer is a piece of shit, I move on. I do the same. I know that's not completely realistic for everyone, but I can't accept that money either. I gotta tell you, Coco, that was my argument when people started talking about, when we were talking about Edward Scissorhands, I think it's not Edward Scissorhands. Whatever his name was, Scissorhands, the dude that came out with the supposed evidence that Jeffrey was saying this and that and the other. Okay. Somebody told, my complaint was, of course, you're going to talk now because he fired you. And people were like, and I think I said this last week. People were like, well, he has bills to pay. I'm sorry, but I've quit people because they're racist. I quit a particular job because the boss was okay with his main sales guy being a complete misogynist. And I had a big problem with that, so I quit. I've done it. And I didn't have another job lined up. I freaking quit. But when it comes to cheating, it's a completely different matter because I am not going to get involved in other people's marriages. I'm just not. However, if I see somebody that cheats on everything, I am going to side-eye that person and I'm probably going to move on somewhere else. I don't have that situation anymore, but that's what I mean. All of them are guilty. That whole LA group is so off-putting. And that's another thing. Here's the thing. I know that people want to talk a lot about the Hollywood scene and whatnot, but that happens everywhere. There's always a group of people that take advantage of every single loophole and make their industry a shithole for everybody else. Pay attention and you'll find it. Because I used to work in the banking industry. They're just as bad. And they don't care about age either. They just don't. And it's something that it has been ingrained. And it cracks me up because the other day somebody was talking about the U.S. District Attorney. His dad apparently worked with Epstein at some point. And they were complaining because the kid was 21 years old and teaching in a school with no education. And people were like, and he was hitting, and there's no evidence that he was hitting on young girls, but he was surrounded by young girls. And I'm sitting there like, okay, it was 1975. I don't know if you remember 1975. I remember 1975. I was 9. I was 9 years old. I remember the environment at that time. Age was not as big an issue as it is now. And I'm telling you, because when I went to high school and when I was in middle school and high school, the equivalent of middle school and high school, I remember every time we got a man teacher in class, oh my God, because we rarely ever did. I was in Catholic school. Whenever we had 2 teachers that happened to be male, one of them was gay. So there goes that theory. Actually, we had 3. And the third one became a priest. So that was not going to happen either. But the second one was a good-looking guy for most people. Blonde, blue-eyed. I didn't think he was that cute, but many people did, including some of my best friends. And I mean, in fact, I had a female teacher that married her boyfriend as soon as he graduated high school. They met in school. She was his teacher. It was different times. So I'm not saying it's okay to do what he did. What I'm saying is that some of the aspects of the whole thing were considered very differently back then, which is why it's problematic to me that there is a statute of limitations on some of these crimes, because should there be or shouldn't there be? My mom dated a guy way older than her when she was 15. It was nothing back then, she told me. Coco, I used to go out with a guy that was, I want to say he was 24. I was 16. And he had permission from my parents to go out with me. Ironically, he thought I was wife material, so he wouldn't put a finger on me. And of course, he ended up cheating on me because he had needs. Instead of asking me as his girlfriend, he decided to cheat on me, and that was it. I am not kidding you. I was thinking the other day how many times I dated somebody that was way older than me and with my parents' permission, and considering how strict my dad was, yeah, that happened a lot. Because I dated, when I was 14, I dated a guy that was 21. When I was 16, I dated this guy that was 24. And then when I was 17, I dated a guy that was 25, 26. And I was not 18 yet. So there's a commissioner around here who married a student from the high school when he was an admin. We all side-eyed that guy. Yeah. But the thing about it is it is considered an illegal act if the person is not a certain age. But when the ages are close, is it the same? Like if I'm 17 and the person is 18 and the legal age is 18, is that also a crime? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I can tell you what would happen if my daughter would have been through it. But Rox, my mom is way older than you. But yeah, I understand that. But what I'm trying to say is it still happened when in the 80s when I was growing up. So, I was 13 with a 21-year-old. It was crazy. And so many girls my age dated older guys. Yep. I'm 30 now with small kids and I couldn't even imagine. But that's the thing. That's not even 20 years ago. It was different. Now it's like, oh my God. My junior in college before my first date. I started dating when I was 13, 14. I think my first boyfriend was when I was 14. Yeah, my first boyfriend was when I was 14. My first official boyfriend was when I was 14. He was my age. Then when I was 15, I started dating this guy that was 2 years older than me. Well, 18 months. But he was 17 when I met him. And then, yeah, I dated a ton of guys that were older than me. But they were not my boyfriend. I just dated them kind of thing. You know what I mean? I had a boyfriend. The one that I told you that he was 25 and I was 17, that one was a boyfriend. He actually asked me to marry him. And I said, no, best thing I ever did. But that's another story for another day. But what I'm trying to say, going back to the topic that we were talking about before we got into the whole thing, is this. Doxing is not cool. Stop doxing people. If you think there's nothing wrong with doxing, that's okay for you, but that's not okay for other people. So stop saying it's okay. And the fact that information is on on the internet doesn't mean that it's okay for you to go ahead and publish it on Twitter or on YouTube where a lot more people are going to see it. A lot more people that are going to probably hate on you. So, my elder brother said when he would come home, they would have him to deal with. He was in special for it. I bet. Bye, Molly. I'll never go why people dox like why. I think it's a power play, but it's a ridiculous one. And going back to the whole thing that I started in the beginning about talking about looks, it takes away from the actual argument. If you have an actual argument to do, raise your argument. Don't put people in danger just because you're having an argument. It's stupid. It's the way I look at it. I could punch my young self in the face. I wouldn't. I don't regret anything. Anything. Even the bad stuff. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you don't go through that stuff, you wouldn't be who you are right now. And I don't know about you, but I'm pretty proud of who I am. Warts, wrinkles, crazy attempts, unstable, whatever you want to call me. But I'm very proud of who I am. So no, I would not take anything back. And I'm not sorry for anything I've ever done. And I'm really not sorry for anything I've ever done. I've never committed a crime either. So I guess, well, I mean, I guess if you call, I have speed, I have been caught speeding. So I guess I have committed crimes, but you know what I mean? I've never done fraud. I've never stolen from anybody. I've never killed anybody. I've never done anything that I can be like really ashamed of. So yeah, you learn from your mistakes. Yeah, but I could do with a little less too. I know. Hey, Marissa. When are you releasing your video? Because Jamie made me shout you out, which I didn't have a problem with, but I didn't know you were releasing a video today. Speeding doesn't count. I've done some messed up stuff, but it's made me who I am. No regrets. Exactly. That's the way I feel about it. So live in years. Wes is 13 years older than me. It was awkward for both of us, blind date, but I worked with this cousin after first they called her. She said he's a keeper. Yep, 3 months later, we married. Oh my God, 3 months. That's the part about your love story that cracks me up. 3 months later. And you've been together for a long time. So, you know. One content creator tried justifying the releasing of another's government name from the info on a copyright claim. He claims YouTube doxed the person. He didn't. That is the dumbest. YouTube doesn't publish that. So how did they? Oh my God, I can't. You know, the mental reaching that some people do is crazy. My Catholic guilt keeps me in check. My Catholic guilt kept me in check for some stuff, but not for other stuff. I'm not going to get into it. I'm supposed to be doing it right now and going to the store. Oh my God, girl, are you doing that? Oh, so you're doing a premiere. Okay, so you all need to keep an eye on her so you know when she posts a video. I gotta go hop in the shower and rinse this hair dye out, babes. Bye. Pictures of the color. Thank you. Bye. 24 years in October. You see, sometimes it works. Making one. Hopefully it is out today, but it may be tomorrow. Don't kill me, Gossip Gate. Ooh, Jamie. Wasn't that Mango? Mango. What? Did Mango use that excuse? I wouldn't be surprised if he did. I think doxing is peak toxic behavior. Yes, it is. Agreed. 100 Hail Marys. Not doing one. That was an angry housewife. Go to above. Bye, Luna. I'm leaving too, so y'all can like start saying goodbye because I'm gonna go now. I love y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow on the other channel. Probably we can talk trash about other stuff. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye. Be good. Thanks for coming. Bye.